This is my first draft for Fantasy Football 2018-19. Well, it's not my real first draft, but it's the first draft that I'm going to show. Been tinkering with it a bit, and I've also got a second team with Sanchez in it because I think he could be a good option because he allows you to switch to Hazard and De Bruyne when they've come back from injury, and he's going to get the first few games up front as well. So basically, what I really wanted to do with this team was just looking at City's and Liverpool's fixtures and the way they were last season. So there's City's fixtures, which is why I've got 3 City players in here. After the Arsenal fixture and then until the Liverpool fixture, just Huddersfield, Wolves, Newcastle, Fulham, Cardiff, Brighton. So 2 City players is important. Obviously, David Silva might not be the best of their midfielders, but early exit from the World Cup, I think he should get some game time at the start of the season. Obviously, someone who I've not gone for that a lot of people are going for is Sane. Obviously, not involved in the World Cup at all, should be fresh. Obviously, an easy way for me to get him would be Nedvez. Obviously, a lot of people think Nedvez is a bad option, perhaps a trap. You know, he's should be 4.5. A lot of people think because of how deep he plays, but I've just got him in there for now at least until I can see City's pre-season, just because I kind of want to have Nedvez, just because I think he provides a bit more rotation than any of the 4.5s would. I think Masuaki is a position change 4.5 could be good, but I just want my £4.5 million midfielder to definitely be starting, which I don't know which 4.5 I'm going to go for. Yeah, he's just in there for now. I've not really thought about that yet. Same with the goalkeepers. I think I might go set and forget with perhaps Pickford or Karius or even Leno at Arsenal, but I don't really trust the Arsenal defence, and they've got 2 tough fixtures to start. I have got Mkhitaryan in there. I would rather have Ramsey in, but it's just hard for me to afford him. Obviously, 2 really tough fixtures, but then a really nice run, which is why Aguero's here, because Aguero will be switched to Aubameyang for that nice run that Arsenal go on, which is why it would probably be a bit better to have another player in there from City rather than Silva. But for now, this is what I've got. I'll probably tinker with it a bit for now. I've gone 4 at the back. Obviously, a lot of people don't like 4 and 5s at the back, but I just think with the lack of cheap midfielders, I just think people like Mendy just offer more value than any of the 6, 5.5, 7.5. Really, I just think them, and another one that's good is Robinson, but obviously I couldn't afford that in this team. Well, I could do again by dropping Nedvez, and then I could do Bailey to Robinson. Like I say, this isn't the final team, but for now, that's what I've got. I could drop Tarkowski to Daniels. He's got great fixtures to start the season. Obviously, Southampton again, great fixtures. Cedric dropped down in price. Good fixtures to start. I'd happily play him in all 5 of those fixtures. Good going forwards. Hopefully, he should get me a few assists. Over the course of the season, he only got 2 assists last season, I think, and they both came in the same game, but he's normally quite good attacking, same as Daniels. So obviously, those have been dropped in price for a reason. I think Tompkins, near the end of the season, was quite good defensively. The Crystal Palace defence, again, really good fixtures to start the season. So I think he's a great option. 4.5, I think he's a bit of a bargain as well. I think the Burnley defenders, 5.5, a lot of them now. I think Tarkowski is probably the best one. Maybe Ward for crosses, but again, look at those fixtures. Part of the Man United game, which I won't even mind playing him in the United game. Salah, I've not even made a version of the team without Salah, just because I just know that I'll be too scared to go without him. So Salah's in there. Obviously, I think this season more so than any season. I think last season I wildcarded game week 4. So I think this season I'll definitely be wildcarding early just because of all the people from the World Cup, which is why I don't mind playing a back 4. My other team with Sanchez requires playing a back 5 at times when I need to rotate my third midfielder, but it doesn't really bother me too much because, like I said, this team here, it's going to be quite hard to get Harry Kane in whenever I do decide to get him in, which I will at some point. So I assume probably around game week 4 wildcard. Tossing, I've gone for over. See a lot of people in this price range going for Wood. Again, I could save money on Wood, upgrade someone, but again, we'll just see how Wood does, because Wood does have Europa League games before the season starts, so I'll see how he does in them. I think Tosin, no Europa League, just a bit better. I think he had a good end to the season as well, and just look at those first 5 fixtures for Everton. Why? Set and forget Pickford could be nice. Again, not too sure what rotation goalies I'll go for. These 2 do rotate quite well when you look at their fixtures. West Ham obviously have poor start to the season, but Fabianski's a good goalie, so getting him in before price rises could be good. And obviously, this guy, don't know too much about Fulham, but these fixtures rotate well together. Don't know if I'll look for a different rotation goalies or if I'll set and forget with Pickford or one of the other £5 million yet. Not really thought too much about it. Again, Nedvez, Does pick up a lot of yellow cards, is defensive, £5 million for a defensive midfielder who plays for Wolves. I know, but he's on corners, so, assists, free kicks, doubt he'll be on penos, but like I said, he could be this year's Millie, so for now at least, I've got him in there. So yeah, I think that just about covers this team. Wanted double Liverpool, wanted double City. Mkhitaryan started last season very good, so obviously two tough fixtures, but I'll quite happily take a chance on him. Ramsey would be the one that I wanted in my team, but it's just quite hard to fit him in everything else that I wanted. I'll just quickly cover this team. You can see I've downgraded Tarkovsky in this team to get Robinson in. That's something I could do in the other team if I wanted to. I've just done that in this team just to show you what I can do at the back. Mafuaki's come in. I've got the same front three. Deulofeu, we don't know if he's going to start or not yet. But I think if Deulofeu looks like starting, I could go with this team because I do quite like the look of this. Obviously, Deulofeu and Tompkins rotate nicely. So I can get a nice playing back five from time to time, which again I don't mind doing because it allows me to have Sanchez, double Liverpool. But this obviously does drop the third City player, and then obviously I will be selling Aguero probably to make room for Aubameyang, which will leave me with no City players. Like I said, Sanchez is a placeholder for potentially Hazard, who's looked good, and De Bruyne, who's both looked good at the World Cup, but what plays out. But the cash isn't distributed as well in the other team, so it would be quite hard to swap players around and stuff. But with an early wild card coming, I don't mind a back four, back five to start the season off, really. So yeah, those are my initial thoughts, because obviously Sanchez is going to play up front, so I was just thinking, we'll see what happens in pre-season, how it looks, but Sanchez could be a player that I just want to take a risk on early on. I do prefer the first team. This team as well, I could swap Tosin for a 4.5 million striker if I wanted to, and then bring back in by selling Mafuaku. I then could bring back in Mkhitaryan if I wanted to, but I just think Mkhitaryan, obviously, don't know how he's going to do this season for sure, and just these fixtures for Everton look nice to me, so obviously both teams are quite similar. So yeah, those are my thoughts so far about what I'm doing. I am leaning towards a back four at this point. Tried building back threes, just in case. That's what I want to do, but it just seems easier to get more value at a back four for me at least. But I know some people would disagree with that, so they're my thoughts. I'll probably do another video at some point about my final team, because obviously I need to keep an eye on Chelsea, because I think yesterday or some point, I don't know when I'll upload this video, but they have just got their new manager in Siri, or however you pronounce it. So someone like Fabregas, if him and Jorginho are going to have more attacking roles ahead of Kante, then 6.5 Fabregas could look good. He was in my initial side. Morata, £9 million. I know he didn't have the best season last season, but if he has a good season at 9 million, he could be someone worth a risk. Even Giroud, if he's going to start, 7.5, maybe he could be someone worth considering upgrading Tosin for. Or maybe swap Firmino to Mane and have a front three of those. I think the defenders are Emerson, 5.5 again. See how he does in pre-season. If he's going to take Alonso's spot, because if they're going to go back to a back four, Alonso might lose his spot. Okay, so before I ended the video, I just wanted to quickly show you my previous ranks. Obviously, last season, 37. Best rank so far, but I was disappointed with that, because with around 4 game weeks ago, it was around 20k, so I thought hopefully I can push into the top 10k, which is what I'll be trying to do for the first time this season. Obviously, the first year I ever played, didn't take it that seriously, got into the top 100k, because really enjoyed playing the chips at the end. They boosted me up, so I thought next season I'll take it seriously. I think the whole YouTube side of it just sort of made me get bored of it and give up, because once I stopped making the videos last season, that was when I stopped playing the game, and obviously I just gave up after about game week 7 or something and ended up with a bad rank. But I know excuses. So obviously this season I'm going to try and do YouTube again and try and not get bored and give up. And hopefully this season we can get top 10k, because I made a lot of mistakes last season. I wildcarded to a back 5 and that worked really well for like the first 3 weeks of wildcarding. And then I was just trying to transition from a back 5 to a back, because I think I was around 30k at that time, 40k, but then trying to transition from a back 5 when it stopped working to a back 3, I ended up spending most of the season around the 200k mark. And then my wild card and my chips, my use of free hit and treble captain and bench boost got me around the 20k mark. But then once I'd used all my chips, I've just had a few poor game weeks, and it saw me finish at around 40k. So hopefully, if we can, cut out a few of the mistakes I've made last season, I think top 10k, top 20k, definitely. Hopefully, somewhere around there we can finish. But yeah, definitely gonna stick it out this season. So yeah, hope you enjoyed.